My husband doesn't want me sexually anymore. My name's Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I'm going to help you with this because there's a lot of misunderstandings in terms of what is really going on, and I'm going to try and give you some insights into not just this particular problem that you're having, but into your marriage, because this is really where the problem lies. It isn't that you're not sexy anymore, even if you've gained weight or your figure has changed. That doesn't matter to men, truly. So I'm going to start with really what does matter. What makes a man feel sexually attracted to his wife? Because it's very interesting, and the point is missed almost entirely. You know, I saw not too long ago a story that was on Facebook about a man who was marrying his fiancée even though she had cancer and was dying. And my God, the poor thing, she was completely emaciated. And she was wearing her wedding gown. And he was all smiles. And you could see in his eye how much he loved her, how much he desired her. She was not sexy, but to him, for sure, she was very sexy. So that is much more of a realistic reasoning for men who feel sexually attracted to their wives, is love. It's love. Now, let's go way back to why you got married in the first place. Because I'm going to show you what went wrong. You got married to be happy, and the ultimate way to achieve happiness, and it isn't just the ultimate way, honestly, it's the only way to achieve long-term happiness. Anything other than fleeting happiness, long-term, deep happiness comes only from love. You could test this in your own mind. You could write down examples of people who are happy and come up with some material reasons, but if you dig deeper, you'll find that they're not. They always have to. There's people who are very wealthy. They've got these fantastic lifestyles. They've got big yachts, jet planes, a staff to wait on them hand and foot, and they're not happy. How do I know? Well, most of them are drinking alcohol or smoking pot. They're escaping somehow. Or they keep so busy that they have themselves deluded into thinking, I am happy. That's not happiness. Happiness only comes from love. Now, it's true that human love is not the only happiness-creating event. There are people who love God so much. There's even people who love art so much that they're completely absorbed. But even that is somewhat fleeting. True love produces happiness. When you got married, you were so happy. Remember at your wedding when you had that experience? Everyone has that experience at their wedding where they're just overwhelmed with love. In fact, they have it at everyone's wedding. This is what you want. You want to feel this love and this deep happiness, this joy for the rest of your life. Here's what happens. You know, we're not just spiritual beings who depend on love. Obviously we are. We're souls. We have a body and a mind, which defines spiritual. But we're also material beings. It's a combination of spirit and nature. When I use that term, I'm talking about the I who's a soul. But then there's the rest of me. There's my body, my mind, the things I like, the things I don't like, and there's a dance going on. We're spirit and nature. What happens is we start getting caught up on the nature side, the material side, and we lose sight of what we're supposed to be doing to enhance the spiritual side of ourselves and of the marriage. That spiritual side can be defined in one word, love, because that's what spirit is. And love is obviously spiritual. You can't touch it. You can't weigh it. You can't see it. But you do know that it's there. You cognize it, not with your mind, but with your heart. And your mind identifies some of those feelings and loves it, obviously, and you love it. It's the most real thing for you. So if your husband isn't appreciating you sexually, it means the connection has been disconnected and you need to reconnect it. So if you take the advice of what most people have to offer, getting a slinky dress, spending time lighting candles, all that stuff doesn't do it. It's material. And the sexual side of marriage is not meant to be sexual entertainment. It isn't at all. This is the product of television and writers and romance writers. You got married wanting unconditional love. And so you use sex correctly to convey your love to your husband. But what has happened, because our society is so screwed up, is we use that sexual time as mutual masturbation. And we're interested in, was that good for you? Did you get off? Have you come yet? I haven't yet. Can you spend more time with, can you do this? Can you do that? It's a misuse of this gift of sexuality for those who are spiritually mature enough to appreciate that they got married in order to experience love and not sex. So what to do about it? Now let me try and recap a little, just to make sure you understand. Although, and this is a sad commentary, one of the first questions, if you go in for marriage counseling, which by the way I totally am against, they'll ask you about your sex life. They use that as a barometer to define your happiness, even though it doesn't define happiness at all. They should be asking you questions more like, how deeply do you love your husband? How do you express love to your husband? And by the way, when you're having intercourse, are you using that time, because there's nothing more intimate, are you using that time to convey your heart to your husband? Are you sharing your heart through your body? So he recognizes your deep loyalty, your deep love for him. Or are you using it to get off? Or are you doing it just to please him? Because if you don't, you know there's going to be problems. So God knows how it's come to this in your particular marriage, because there's a lot of ways to screw things up. The easiest way to screw things up is to not know what you're supposed to be doing and doing those things continuously on a regular basis. Most people get married in this world, and it's a goal. And so you might liken it to, let's get married. Oh boy, we're going to get married. And we spent all of this time in the preparation. Oh, I've picked out the most beautiful dress. You're going to wear this tux. How about if we see Aunt Lucy next to Jim? Maybe they'll get along. And all the focus is on the wedding day. In fact, in the world, people talk about this is the happiest day of the bride's life. And I'm going, whoa, that's sad. That should be the beginning of an ever-increasing love and happiness. But it isn't, because you get married and marriage is a destination, as if you're going for a ride at a theme park and you're just waiting for it to happen. But you know what? If you get a new car, it's a wonderful thing to get a new car, isn't it? But you know you have to change the oil. You know you have to check the tire pressure. You know you have to keep it clean. What do you know that you have to do in your marriage? No one's ever said anything to you about it. So you didn't know. So you got married as if it were a destination. That's the beginning of the end. The end. Because just like that car, if you don't take care of it, the tires will eventually go flat. You'll get out of balance. If you don't change the oil, the engine will be ruined pretty soon. You got to get a divorce from your car. Well, we don't want you to get a divorce from your husband. We want you to have a phenomenal marriage that's based on happiness. That should be your expectation, to be happy. And your expectation should be that in this space of happiness, this marriage space, I call it the sacred space of marriage, that love blooms. It's the flowers. It's the flowers. It's the product. But if you don't fertilize the soil, you're not going to get the blooms you want. So what do you do now? You got to go back to step one. You don't have to get to know each other per se, because you already know each other very well. But you, especially as the wife, have tremendously more power than your husband in this area, not because of the sex attraction, obviously not right now, but you have a connection to your heart that men don't have because of biology. You need to start expressing love from your heart, not by rote, not by method or technique. You need techniques and methods to learn how to connect to your heart, to be that heart, that unconditional love that men seek. There's a total misconception in the world that men are seeking sex. That's not so. Sure they are. Their animal body is driving them to procreate. This is just part of the nature side of us. However, what he really needs is to have that fulfillment, because he's essentially a soul. This is where you have to go. You got to get to the basics. How do you do that? You learn to control your mind. This is all in my books. And if your marriage is really slipping, you need the course for women. You need to really learn how to become your heart in your marriage. So your husband starts seeing you differently, and he will start being attracted to you. And part of that attraction will be a sexual attraction. And it won't be a huge part of the attraction, but it's an important part. So I'm not going to scold you for turning him off or anything like that. That would be nonsense. I'm going to encourage you to demand from yourself to achieve happiness and love within your marriage. And then allow that to create the dynamics of sexual attraction. Will it work? Absolutely it will work. I've only been doing this for 20 years. So when I say something will work, it's true, it's going to. Don't try to do this on your own necessarily. I mean, you could, but you're much better off using one of my books to give you some guidance. And again, if you're having difficulty that you can't put your finger on what the solution is, the Marriage Foundation is a non-profit foundation. We're set up to help you with your marriage. Our counselors, we have a service that's free. You write into the counselors and they will help you with your dilemma. They are not paid a commission for steering you towards the course. In fact, they're reluctant to steer people towards the course because it takes a lot of effort. So unless your marriage is really slipping towards divorce, they'll just encourage you to read one of the books, which are, check out the reviews. They can be miraculous for you. The information you learn will change your life for the better, and that's what we want. So you can subscribe to this channel. You can like this video, leave a comment, share. But blessings to you, blessings to your husband, and blessings to your family. Thank you for spending some time with me.